Hello everyone. Today we'll be working on speaking task 5 called as comparing and persuading in CELPIP. Let us take some tips first of task 5. Now this is the only section in CELPIP which has 3 parts. The first part is called as choosing for 60 seconds. The second thing is called preparing for 60 seconds. And the third is called speaking for 60 seconds. You have to compare options and persuade the listener about your choice. Look at the two options and choose one. After choosing one, a third random option will appear. Break up your answer in 5 parts. This is my golden tip, my bonus tip for you. Now, what is the tip? In the first part, you'll give an introduction. In the second part, you'll acknowledge the other option. In the part 3, you will state your choice. In part 4, you will add a reasoning. And in part 5, you will close the topic. Be natural, that is my tip, and it works very well all the time. Let's try and solve one. You and your spouse have decided to renovate one room in the house this summer. Which room do you think it should be? Persuade your spouse that your choice is better. So basically, you are speaking to your spouse, so the language has to be an informal tone. Initial two options that appear on the screen are a bedroom, which costs about $4,000. New paint and carpets we get in that. Length of the project is 1 month, and it is do-it-yourself project. Living room, the cost is $7,000, in which the new windows and floor will be fixed. The length of the project is 2 weeks, and hiring of professionals is mandatory here. So now I choose one. So my choice is living room. So let us see what will happen now. Your spouse is recommending the kitchen. So now I have two choices. The first choice is one that I chose, that is the living room. And the second choice is the one that the spouse suggests, that is 10,000 worth of kitchen renovation, in which new cupboards and counters would be made, and the project length would be 1 week. Your uncles will help in this. Now let us see the structure once again. In the first paragraph, I give some introduction. So I'm going to give you a lot of tips on this. In part 2, I'm going to acknowledge the other option. In part 3, I'm going to state my choice. In part 4, I'm going to give a reasoning for my choice. And in part 5, I will close the topic. So let us see how to start the introductory part. Now, what I generally do is I have to figure out is it a formal or an informal speech. I can say hi with an informal speech, but with formal, we can use any of the rest below. I need to talk to you regarding, I have something to discuss with you. It's concerning. I wanted to talk to you about, I wanted to chat about something you can use to start your answer. So let us define one introduction here. Hey, Tina, I have something to discuss with you. It's concerning renovation. So now we need to acknowledge. That is part 2. How do we acknowledge? In case of acknowledgement, we can say, I understand that you prefer. I know that you like. I heard that you wanted to. Jason told me that you were considering. I know you are recommending, but so I can use any of these options. So let us see how does it work now. I know you are recommending that we renovate the kitchen, but I think it would be better to renovate the living room instead. So in the third part, I have to state my choice. Tell the person what do you prefer. Like you can start by saying a lot of options are there, but again, you have to just write one option. That is more than enough for you. So how do we handle this? I'm certain that you'd be better off. Personally, I think, I believe, I feel that. In my opinion, in my view, in my experience. If you ask my opinion, I would say, this is going to be followed by, there are a couple of reasons. I have some reasons for that. Let me tell you why I think so. So these are some choices which you can make while giving your own choice. You have to make a choice out of them, then fix it together, and we get our own opinion. Now let's see. Personally, I think that our summers always go by so fast, and I don't want to waste time on a project like this. So let us see how I add reasoning to it. So while adding reasoning, I am going to use any one of them for one thing. First of all, most importantly, don't you agree that, in my view, in my experience, as far as I'm concerned, speaking for myself, I would say I am certain, I am convinced that, as far as I know, so these are some of the ways in which I can add reasoning. Again, you have to add just one. So think about one only, that's good enough. Let's see the reasoning here. In this particular question, I'm going to give a reasoning. First of all, if we hire professionals to renovate the living room for us, we'll have time to go camping together. We can just ask our cousin Mandy to house sit for us while we are gone. She can let the workers in and out of the house every day. I know the kitchen project would go faster with the help of Uncle Tom and Uncle Jerry. But if we go camping for 2 weeks, it won't really matter how long the project took. You know, that reasoning has to be very important. It's not important you speak the truth or you don't speak the truth. It doesn't make a difference. How important is how good you are at reasoning. So add a second reason. So to add a second reason, we can use a lot of options. My first option is for another thing. Secondly, what's more? In addition, additionally, not to forget, the other thing is we can use any of them. That will be quite useful. So let us see how does it work by adding a second reason. The other thing is that we are trying to save up for a new vehicle next year. I know the kitchen would only be $3,000 more than the living room, but that money could pay for a big chunk of the new car. So fifth is closing, and we can use any of these options for closing. I hope you agree with me. Dash is a better choice. I hope you change your mind after hearing my option. I hope you reconsider your decision. Please give it a thought more time. I hope you understand what I disagree with you. Anyways, those are the reasons why I think we should. So these are some of the incomplete sentences that I've told you. Now let us complete them. And what I'm going to do is, anyways, those are the reasons why I think we should renovate the living room. Maybe we can tackle the kitchen next summer. So now we've got everything together, all the 5 parts. Let's assemble them together and we figure out what comes out to be as a final picture. But again, my opinion is always this, that you should always try and practice for more than a minute. Because when you practice for, say, 2 minutes or 1.5 minutes, and you go for the real exam, you are definitely going to forget something. So it's a good idea to make it more than a minute, maybe 2 minutes. Hey, Tina, I have something to discuss with you. It's concerning renovation. I know you are recommending that we renovate the kitchen, but I think it would be better to renovate the living room instead. The thing is that our summers always go by very fast, and I don't want to waste time on a project like this. If we hire professionals to renovate the living room for us, we'll have time to go camping together. We can just ask your cousin Mandy to house sit for us while we are gone. She can let the workers in and out of the house every day. I know the kitchen project would go faster with the help of Uncle Tom and Uncle Jerry, but if we go camping for 2 weeks, it won't really be a matter how long the project took. The other thing is that we are trying to save up for a new vehicle next year. I know the kitchen would only be $3,000 more than the living room, but that money could pay for a big chunk of a new car. Anyway, those are the reasons why I think we should renovate the living room. Maybe we can tackle the kitchen next summer. So this is about 1 minute and some seconds. So we come to the end, and I hope that you learned how to handle this particular section of speaking. Thank you so much.